Namaste and welcome to another episode of Viewpoint. So Maharashtra elections, quite an interesting turn of events over there with the Mahayuti bagging the majority of seats in the 288 seat Legislative Assembly of Maharashtra. So what does it have in store for what's coming in the future for Maharashtra politics? So to discuss on this, we have with us Suresh Kochadil ji. Namaste ji.
Namaste, namaste.
So you've seen what's going on, and earlier we had Eknath Shinde as the CM, and right now it's been almost 4 or 5 days since the election results. No CM candidate has been declared openly yet. So what do you think is brewing in Maharashtra at this point?
Well, that's very obvious that it will be Devendra Fadnavis. There's no doubt on that. It's only a matter of time because a party that has got 130 plus seats cannot take a back seat. They did it last time. They did it out of compulsion. But this time there's no compulsion because even if both the parties walk out, there will be no issue at all. That is the main thing. Because both the parties, let us say Congress plus the entire mahavikasaghadi has got what, 53 odd seats. So there's no way they will reach the 145 mark even if they want to, even if both these parties walk out. In any case, there are about 8 candidates of BJP in the Shiv Sena Shinde list who are BJP candidates actually, who won on Shiv Sena symbol because the Shiv Sena Shinde faction did not have a proper candidate there. And there are about 4 or 5 candidates from in the Ajit Pawar faction who is also from BJP. So in any case, if there is a threat tomorrow, all these people will resign and then there will be an election and the result is foregone conclusion. That is, I mean the by-polls for those seats. Anyway, it will not happen. That is a different thing altogether. But what is interesting is the way the post-election scenario has evolved. Congress, Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray, Sharad Pawar's party are reluctant to accept the result. To an extent that we had leaders who alleged even now, we have senior leaders who alleged, including Mallikarjun Kharge, that we should do away with EVMs, and the Supreme Court itself has said very clearly that EVMs are here to stay. It's very obvious why they want to do it, because the old system was suiting them very well.
They didn't have a problem with EVMs in
Jharkhand, yeah, Jammu Kashmir, they didn't have an issue.
Not even for the Lok Sabha elections.
Lok Sabha elections. So basically, one should learn to be humble in defeat. When you're losing an election, you should say, I've lost. It's the same with anything. Even if you lose in a game of sport, you should say, I've lost. And then try and better it next time. But Congress is not learning lessons, because what happened in Haryana was a sign that they took everything for granted. They're saying the voter has no choice. They have to vote for us. Why do they have to vote for you? They will still go with the devil if you want to. Pardon my use of parlance, but that is the way it is. Maharashtra, what happened? We saw the Lok Sabha elections where the Mahavikasaghadi did very well. But 4 months later, here comes a result which is totally different, where they're almost heading in a 2/3 majority state. In fact, the Shinde Shiv Sena has more seats than all of the Mahavikasaghadi put together.
I mean, in fact, they say in 60 years is the first time that there's no proper leader of opposition, because none of the parties of Mahavikasaghadi has the numbers for that.
And at 66% voting this time, it is the highest in 30 years. It's a big, big record. People have discounted that fact. I mean, I fail to understand why Congress keeps blaming the EVMs, why Congress keeps blaming the 5 lakh votes, which Election Commission has clarified, use the postal ballots. They still are reluctant to accept the result. They want VVPAT counting. Okay, so be it, do it. It's been done before, no issues with that. But you should learn what went wrong. The problem with, as we saw Sanjay Raut's case, Sanjay Raut kept on saying, this cannot happen. People of Maharashtra will not do this to us. In Hindi, they say, theka leke rakha hai kya der se? Who are you to say that people of Maharashtra should not vote for the Mahayuti? Who are you? That's a question one should ask to Sanjay Raut. The main problem that happened between the Lok Sabha and the Assembly elections is 2 things. One, the BJP did course correction. And the Congress and the rest of the alliance of the Mahavikasaghadi took it light.
What is the course corrections?
Yeah, the BJP decided for one that their candidate selection has to be better. BJP has to contest on a larger number of seats because they are pulling the alliance together. Whereas, look at the Congress side, actually the Congress is pulling the alliance down, wherever it is. Look at Jammu Kashmir, look at Maharashtra. In Haryana, there was no alliance. But wherever the Congress is contesting with an alliance partner, they are pulling the vote percentage down. They are contesting more seats, but they are losing more seats. winning less number of seats.
There's a very similar thing which was said during, when DMK said the same thing when Congress was in an alliance in the earlier.
Yeah, I'll give you some numbers. Let me just read out some numbers for you. In the Lok Sabha election that were held, 2024, the Mahavikasaghadi won 9 seats with less than 5% vote margin. In many constituencies, Lok Sabha, they lost 5, but won on the 6th one and got the majority and won the election. Because that was a Muslim-dominated constituency in many constituencies. In this election too, Nanded, for example, which was a Congress seat which was necessitated by the passing away of that leader, their MP there. There's a by-election for the Nanded Lok Sabha. Congress won it this time. The same election, on the other side, there was another set of EVMs for the assembly. And BJP swept all the 6 of 6. BJP, in a sense, the Mahayuti alliance swept all 6 of 6. Now, how do you explain that? So, obviously, the voter is smart. Voter understands. Look, there is a sympathy factor. There is somebody who passed away, whose seat this is. Let him win it. Or whatever it is. But for the assembly, we have a very clear choice. But the problem is the Congress and Mahavikasaghadi alliance is reluctant to accept this fact that we can lose the election. Now, take the second figure. Now, we will go to the next step of figures, This is where it gets interesting. 12 seats were won by the Mahavikasaghadi, that is the Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray plus Congress plus Sharad Pawar group. With 12 seats were won between 5 and 10% margin. Now, in a Lok Sabha election, up to 10% margin is considered very wafer thin. Okay, because you are talking of something in lakhs. But when you bring that down to an assembly, that is number is divided by 6. So, if you won by 10% margin, if you divide that by 6, you are talking of a 1% margin or a 1.5% margin for each assembly seat. That's what happened this time. BJP worked on the course correction. You asked me what is this course correction. One was a candidate selection. They were decided that they will contest more number of seats. They will even loan candidates to Shinde group and Ajit Pawar because they don't have sufficient number of candidates. Second is they involved the RSS, or the RSS involved themselves, you can say. That is very important because RSS did the extremely good job in Haryana. So they were on the ground, they did their work quietly as they always do and went away. There was no problem with that. The third thing that happened, which is the most important thing, which people say it is the Ladli Behna, Ladli Ladki scheme and all that kind of scheme, which even Madhya Pradesh had it. Yeah, that had its impact. There's no doubt about it. 1,500 rupees were being paid. Congress promised 3,000. So why didn't people vote for Congress? Why didn't the women vote for Congress? Because they knew that there's somebody who's promising and delivering rather than waiting for something which will never happen. Rather, I go with 1,500, which is promised to be elevated to 2,100 or 2,200 after the voting, after the winning the election. Remember, Maharashtra's GDP is so high that despite all the freebies and everything, all the loan things that are taking it on them, their entire thing is only 17% of the GDP. In Telangana and southern states and even many northern states, it is ranging from 35 to 55%. You've taken more debt than half their GDP. State product, that is GSDP, gross state domestic product. So, whereas Maharashtra can afford it, they will not get into a negative territory because their GSDP is so high, they are India's financial capital. So, they can afford far more freebies or whatever you want to call it in your language, is that they can do it. So, they can increase it even 3,000 for all you know. But that is, see, women voted, there is no doubt, women's voting this time has gone up by 6% approximately. But my main contention is there has been a consolidation of the Hindu vote bank this time. See what happens, Bal Thackeray's party, Shiv Sena, was known to be more pro-Hindu or as we call Kattar Hindu. Thackeray's writ used to run in Mumbai. What he says used to be done. But for his son to come down and ally with the Islamist was something that the audience couldn't take it. Even normal Shiv Sena, Karyakartas could not take it. The Shiv Seniks were upset that the party which Bal Thackeray had brought up so well on a pro-Hindu platform is being diluted by his son just for the sake of becoming the chief minister. Okay? So that is what happened. So what happened? The entire Hindu vote bank consolidated. Then you will ask me, why didn't the Muslims vote for BJP? They didn't technically vote for BJP, they voted for Ajit Pawar. What Ajit Pawar did was that he consolidated all the Muslim votes to his side by getting some allowances from Shinde when he was the chief minister, which included increasing the salary of the madrasa teachers, increasing the amount for certain universities, Urdu universities and all that. This is something that he did. And he took those votes away. This is where it happened, that Both the Hindus and the Muslims voted for the alliance.
So is it also possible that when it comes to mahavikasaghadi, the Muslim voters look at Uddhav Thackeray, Shiv Sena and say, no, we're not going to vote for them. And then Uddhav Thackeray's core vote bank looks at Congress and says, no, we're not going to vote for them. You think could something like that
Yeah,
also
it happened. That's exactly the point. A lot of people talked about the Maratha agitation and said that is going to impact. You see the videos that were coming 2-3 weeks before the election where everybody was talking, there is going to be a consolidation of Maratha vote bank. The OBCs also will consolidate and vote against the BJP. Technically what happened was the Maratha agitation fizzled out. It was a thing built up by the Congress. It fizzled out. Second, the so-called OBCs voting for BJP never happened. The OBCs actually technically voted for the BJP. So the OBC consolidation which Congress was hoping will vote for them never happened. The reason being the OBCs were upset because they thought that the Congress was kind of pandering to the Maratha alliance, that is Maratha community reservation policy, because it would take away their OBC quota. It would reduce their OBC quota because then the Maratha reservation, if given, will come under OBC quota, not a separate quota. So that would dilute their reservation numbers. So they were angry. Exactly the same thing happened in Haryana. You had the Jats on one side whom the Congress was pandering to with Dipender Singh Hooda, and they said he is going to be the chief minister, so vote for Hooda and Jat will become the chief minister. So the non-Jats, who are about something like 80% of the population, got together and voted against. And we saw what happened in Haryana. Something similar happened in this is something that even I've been telling the BJP leaders and BJP party during my debates on various channels, that don't forget your core voter base. So batenge to katenge, ek hai to safe hai and all that were good. See, one was a pure out and out, what the Congress would call it communal, which is batenge to katenge, which is Yogi Adityanath. So Modi came out with something more softer. The softer version was very simple. The softer version was that, ek hai to safe hai, which can be anything. That if we all stand together, united we stand, divided we fall. Simple as that. And that is where I think the BJP did extremely well. They took the leadership role. They said, we will pull the alliance. We will get, actually if you ask me, without the alliance, Ajit Pawar would not have even got 5 seats, technically. But the pull was so fierce that when beyond anything above 45% vote share will result in a tsunami, and that's what happened this time.
So as a final conclusion, like right now in Maharashtra politics, we see it's all alliance-based politics which is going on, though BJP in its own right has significant numbers. But do you think there's going to be a more churning of the alliance where Uddhav Thackeray may essentially come out, or would Ajit Pawar and Eknath Shinde actually keep staying supportive for the entire term? Or do you think there may be some more?
See, there is a municipal election coming up and there are panchayat polls coming up, which is more localized. Some of them are fought on party symbols, some of them are not fought on party symbols, just like Telangana is. Uddhav Thackeray's case is settled. Uddhav Thackeray is not the real Shiv Sena. That is now been cleared out by Shinde faction. Sharad Pawar's party stands finished. Ajit Pawar is now officially the thing. Remember the last Lok Sabha election, he was kind of criticized, even I criticized, for getting 1 seat. It's a pathetic performance it was. But suddenly, out of nowhere, he gets this 40 odd seats. How did he get it? Obviously, there has been a big thinking within the fraternity which catered to Sharad Pawar that look, it is better to go with Ajit Pawar because they didn't see a future with Sharad Pawar. Same thing happened with Uddhav Thackeray. Uddhav Thackeray diluted his constituency. Uddhav Thackeray diluted his entire appeal to the pro-Hindu voters and went with the Muslim voters thinking that they will vote for him. Nor did they not vote for him. Even the Hindus deserted him. So both ways he got hit. So I think that is settled. The alliance also knows very clearly that BJP is now the bigger partner. There is no getting away from the fact. They cannot dictate. Okay, Shinde and Ajit Pawar put together will not even make it to the 100 mark. Okay, and Congress is
135, I guess.
145 is the majority that you need to do. But that will never happen, as I told you. The reason being that many BJP candidates sitting in Shiv Sena and who contested under Shiv Sena symbol and won. So same thing with Ajit. I think the entire Maharashtra story is very, very important when you come to Bihar elections that are due in October next year, and Delhi before that. But Delhi is more of a freebie election. And we saw that before also, that if you have EVMs for Lok Sabha on one side and the assembly on the other side, the voter will decide indirectly that I will vote for one party here and one party there. And we saw that even in Telangana, okay, where the elections were held simultaneously, but then results were different. Okay, if Kishan Reddy could win Secunderabad, he should have won all the assembly constituencies under him in Secunderabad. Did not happen. Okay. Karimnagar, same thing. So what we are talking of basically is that voters are very, very smart. So if Mr. Sanjay Raut feels that the voters have no choice but to vote for his party or his alliance, he is sadly mistaken. He is a Jurassic now. Okay, that is simple as that. Your arrogance, the arrogance of Shiv Sena's Uddhav Thackeray faction. And I find it very ironical that Uddhav Thackeray faction calls it a betrayal, that the BJP betrayed them by splitting the party. Who first betrayed the BJP? They fought as an alliance together in the election, and Uddhav Thackeray wanted to become the chief minister, so he betrayed BJP by walking out of the alliance. So the betrayal was from his side. So this time the voters clearly understood that whatever the betrayal they are talking of actually happened from Uddhav Thackeray's side. And that is why they taught him a lesson of a lifetime. He will never forget. I think politically he is finished as much as Sharad Pawar is finished. And that is the most important thing.
So thank you so much for your valuable insights. So you heard the discussion today. So what do you think about the Maharashtra election results? Please let us know below. We'll catch up again. Namaste and Jai Hind.